It's Purim, one of my favorite holidays, maybe because my middle name is Esther and she is the heroine of Purim. Every year I read through the Megillah telling Esther's story, and every year this is the verse that resonates with me when Esther needs to risk her life and go to King Ahasuerus to plead for the Jewish people to be saved. Esther is scared, and this is what her uncle Mordecai says to her. Ki im hacharesh tacharishi ba'et hazot. If you remain silent at a time like this, Ravach v'hatzala ya'amod la'Yehudim mimakom acher. Relief and deliverance will come to the Jews from another source. V'atu veit avicha tovedu. But you and your father's house will perish. And then the kicker. Umi yodea im le'et kazot higat lamalchut. And who knows whether it was just for such a time as this that you attended the royal position. I love how we see Esther's fear, that she is afraid to speak out, to advocate on behalf of her people, and how she owns that fear and goes to the king. Spoiler alert, we know how the story ends, with Esther as the heroine and the Jewish people saved. What an amazing story of successful advocacy. I shared recently that the first time I spoke publicly about my disability was 10 years ago, just before Purim. The reason it took so long for me to say anything in a public space was fear. I was afraid. I was afraid to be perceived as something other than normal. I wanted to be just like everyone else. I'm still not sure what exactly prompted me to start sharing my story, but I do think it's related to my namesake, Esther. That if I didn't start advocating for myself and others to be included and accommodated, that I would lose something of myself. And unlike Esther's story, where if Esther hadn't spoken up, someone else would have stepped up to be the savior of the Jewish people. If I don't speak up, if we don't speak up, we cannot count on others speaking up for us instead. We have to keep up the brave work of advocating for ourselves and others. We cannot afford to remain silent on behalf of those of us who risk being excluded, especially during this time when so many of us are isolated and unheard. Because just as in Esther's story, I firmly believe the eternality of the Jewish people hangs in the balance, and we can make all the difference. Wishing you a joyous Purim and Shabbat Shalom.